fabulous fabric from the land of the five rivers.
Years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
Some breaking news.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We are back, man, for breaking news show, live reaction show to Cliff Kingsbury, finally named the OC, a guy that we've talked about a lot, on this show if you've been paying attention. But they finally did it. I was kind of hoping that possibly they might wait it out with Clint Kubiak. The passing game coordinator for the 49ers, but, it is what it is. It's just time was ticking, and there was a possibility Clint would be like, you know what, thanks, but no thanks. I'm going back to the 49ers, or I'm going to go take this other opportunity, and that's too risky with a lot of the OC hires. I think a lot of them kind of got hired today as well. Like a lot of the people that, I want to say a lot, but I know Alex Van Pelt got hired by the Patriots. That's a guy that the Raiders interviewed. But, yeah, we'll get into all that good stuff, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. You know what to do when you into the building, man. Just make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Should I give them the friendly reminder?
Bro, you always got to give them that friendly reminder, man. Every single time.
If y'all don't know, hey, the like button, it looked like a thumb. Like you see that right there? It just come on, man. I appreciate y'all, man. If y'all can support us by liking the video, subscribing, all that good stuff. Hit that notification bell so you be notified. Let me get this stuff out the screen because I know y'all tired of this. But the nation, let's speak to the nation, man. It's a live show, not a pre-recorded. It's a live show, so we get to talk to the nation today. Let's get into the chat. Let's see who's pulled up. Who we got in the building? We got Dominique 5 He says, "What up, fellas, man? Appreciate you coming through, man. First comment, first chat of the day, man. Appreciate you. Guy was here early, man. I appreciate it, man.
Early.
Egalitarian. He says PharoahNFL, man, and he shouts out Severe, man. Appreciate you coming through,
Salute to you.
Mr. CT. You know what I mean? I don't know if you're trying to say something with that name, but what's good, family? Shout out from Youngstown, Ohio, man. You always repping where you from, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate you coming through Ohio, man. Like I said, man, Raider Nation is worldwide, man. We got guys from Ohio, I think Louisiana, like all over, man. We you know, it's worldwide, man. So we appreciate you coming through. I know you excited that the Raiders finally made a OC hire, which, hey, you know what? We can start looking to the, you know what that's going to come with. You know what a Cliff Kingsbury is going to come with? It's coming with a young superstar QB, hopefully.
Facts. Hopefully.
My opinion says Cliff Kingsbury with exclamation points. I'm going to give him, I got him, man. I got him. He's excited, man. Alpha One says, "What's up, fam? AP is building a super team of coaches. Kingsbury, Lewis, the experience."
Facts.
You know, a lot of people like to talk about, you know, a lot of the people probably opposed to AP as a head coach. They look at him as a guy that's inexperienced, a linebacker coach who's never even been a coordinator in the NFL, let alone a head coach. So what do the Raiders do? They're surrounding him with experience. Marvin Lewis. Obviously, we knew that he was going to be a part of the Raider organization, but it was officially talked about. We'll talk about that. But I think they officially named him the assistant head coach today. So, man, but there's a lot to talk about, man. We got people pulling up everywhere, man. Mr. Marty Mart, he's calling his shot right now. He says Justin Fields second rounder. Man, I know Severe. I'm just gonna say it, man. Severe is he's against it. You ain't gotta say nothing, man. You against it. I already know. John Leon says, "Hey, salute nation. Hey, appreciate you coming through. My guy. Oh, we got a celebrity. We got Raider Room, man. One of the biggest, one of the best and biggest Raider IG channels out there, man. Make sure to check them out. Appreciate you coming through, man.
Thanks.
Marty Mart, a Kubiak to Washington, Kirk interesting. Hey, that's an interesting scenario. There's a connection there. There's definitely a connection there. Definitely a connection. I heard. You know what I heard about Washington? I heard that they might be looking into maybe hiring with Dan Quinn because he officially got hired as the head coach.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be interviewing Chip Kelly, who was one of the final two candidates for the Raiders. We didn't know. I mean, obviously, earlier this week we heard that Chip Kelly was trying to connect himself to the Raiders, but they actually interviewed him twice.
Yeah,
AP.
They kept that shit. They kept that real hush hush too.
Yeah, real hush hush. So, and then AP made his final decision, and hey, I'm not mad at that decision, man. I would want a Kingsbury over at Chip Kelly, for me, in my opinion, man. Sean Johnson, Schefter Johnson. This guy always gives us breakage news in the DM. He says, "Salute Pharaoh and Severe, assistant head coach Marvin Lewis, now Cliff Kingsbury, OC. And I'm hearing Hugh Jackson, possible QB coach. Yes. And just read Kalen Williams' father and him told Coward they love Cliff." Okay, let's get into it. Yeah. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into the show, man. Look, man. Hey, we got Marvin Lewis, man. He was officially named the assistant head coach. What do you think of that move? What do you think of Marvin Lewis being the assistant head coach? He hasn't coached the NFL in a while. I mean, we all know that he was the head coach for the Bengals for years. Yes. For years.
Yes. And Marvin Lewis is there, in my opinion, right? It's pure speculation. This is an advisory role. Biggest and basically the biggest the biggest net thing that AP was missing was experience, right? We all talked about his clock management, his lack of using timeouts, Sometimes it's challenges. We're kind of spidey. When you have a seasoned veteran head coach like Marvin Lewis, who was coached for years, had a lot of regular season success, not a lot of postseason success, but had a lot of regular season success. He's a guy that can be kind of a sounding board for Antonio Pierce. They obviously have a good relationship. They work together at Arizona State, so I think that's a very, very good move, man. Just to have that, that elder statesman there to kind of be basically a mentor for Antonio Pierce. And it kind of reminds me of I want to say later in his career, Tom Moore, who was the old offensive coordinator for the Colts. I want to say he had a similar role with the team who hired a young head coach. I want to say my guy, who was it? Who was the old defensive coordinator for the Cowboys? He kind of had that same role when Sean McVay was first hired with the Rams.
Wade Phillips.
Wade Phillips, I want to say that was Sean McVay's first defensive coordinator, and when he first got hired with the Rams, so he kind of had that similar role. Now he was actually a coordinator, so he was more involved with the day-to-day, running of the team, running the defense, but a similar concept. So I think that this is a very, very smart move by Antonio Pierce.
Yeah, no, I like it. I mean, we've kind of known for a while that Marvin Lewis is going to have like a position in the organization with AP. He kind of came in the middle of the season as an advisor to AP. Him and Tom Coughlin. I think Tom Coughlin is also like a consultant too as well with the team. Like, so they both have positions. So, and another thing too, if you've noticed, a lot of like the guys that've been brought in to interview, they all kind of been connected to Coughlin and Marvin Lewis in some way or form. Like whether it was a former player, former coach, whatever the case may be. So you can see the influence there. Like AP is definitely leaning on them to get guys in the building. And so I'm not mad at it. It's you got this is AP. At the end of the day, AP is going to make his staff. But AP understand what I like about AP, he understands what his weaknesses are. And one of his weaknesses is inexperience. So if you got like former head coaches everywhere, which you got in Cliff Kingsbury, you got in Marvin Lewis, and you got Patrick Graham. I know he's not a former head coach, but you got guys who are experienced, been there, done that, in the coaching staff, man. I can't get mad at it, man. I can't get mad at it. It's only a W in my book. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, man. Hey, look, at the end of the day, this is the move that we've kind of been waiting for. Is Cliff Kingsbury has finally been hired as the OC for the Raiders. We were wondering why it was taking so long, but in my opinion, it wasn't taking long. It was just they were taking their time. They wanted to make sure, AP had to make this move had to be a move that he didn't rush, because he knows part of him being a head coach of his team, like as a defensive head coach, especially a guy that's never been a coordinator as a defensive he's going to lean on his assistants. So we know who the defensive coordinator is going to be, and I think we talked about that. I think in an earlier show. I think did we? I'm not sure if we talked about it, but Patrick Graham, it looks like he's coming back with the Raiders.
Yes.
Because the only job that he was connected to was that Seattle job, and Mike McDonald got hired. So Patrick Graham, we can kind of safely say that he's coming back on to staff. I mean, that's a big hire right there in itself.
Yes.
And now we got Cliff Kingsbury, former head coach, OC. I'm kind of concerned because I do hear some guys talking about the struggles that Cliff had as a head coach for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I hopefully the year off, served him right. You know what I mean? Hey, the crazy thing is someone made a point, and I thought that was what was interesting is the fact that he's getting paid. Like he's still getting paid by, I think, the Cardinals. So he doesn't have to come back. But he loves coaching so much. Like he actually went to USC. I think he was he wasn't even a QB coach. I think he was like a offensive analyst. Was
He
he
was
a
their
QB
quarterbacks
coach?
coach. He was their
Was he?
quarterbacks coach. Yeah, he was a quarterbacks coach.
Okay. But still, like he's going back to USC. He's trying. He wants to coach. He loves coaching. So this is a grinder. And the
Yeah.
other day, we talked. We played a clip from the Pat. Shout out to Pat McAfee. I think they had a former coach talk about Cliff and how like this dude is insane. Like he wakes up at 3:30 a.m. to watch film and come up with plays and
He gets to the facility at 3:30. Gets a
yeah.
workout. He gets a workout in and is watching tape by 4:15. Like, bro, that's that and that's the kind of stuff we heard John Gruden would do, right? That's the kind of grinder John Gruden was in terms of when he was early in his career. So I mean, if you get a guy that's young like Cliff, with that same kind of work ethic, man, I'm excited.
Yeah, no
Very
doubt,
excited.
man. Hey, and I just hopefully like some of these distractors and what some of these people are saying, like, because we're gonna show the other side. The other side of it is that, like people are like we're kind of criticizing the fact that there was no really flow to the offense. It was just like a collection of plays being put together. So there was. If you look at the numbers, you might say like, oh, well, he was top 10 in this, but there were some moments in time because it didn't end well with Arizona. Him and Kyler Murray weren't on the same page, and maybe some of that had to do with maybe Kyler Murray's work ethic wasn't all the way there. The fact that they had to put that in his contract that he needed to go and make sure he studies film should tell you everything you need to know. Like. And that for Cliff Kingsbury, like he's probably like, you know what, I can't even run my offense fully because the guy doesn't even know the full playbook. So
Exactly.
it's tough. But what do you think about the Kingsbury hire as far as like for the Raiders, man? Like what type of offense we're gonna see? You know what I mean? Like what do you think?
Man, we are going to see a creative offense. Where people always try to downplay Kingsbury is him and the coordinating, him as a coordinator or running the offense, calling the plays is in the run game. Now he had 2 top 10 finishes in rushing when he was with the Cardinals, and when James Conner was healthy, they were a very good running team. He even had, he even was getting production out of Kenyon Drake and out of Edmond. So he's a guy that will run the ball. So I don't think that's going to be an issue here. We have the backs to do it. And I think he will find ways to get production out of the running game. And I think as in terms of passing, when DeAndre Hopkins was healthy, the Cardinals were one of the best offenses in the NFL when Kingsbury was the coach there. So
Mm-hmm.
you put him and you give him weapons like Jacoby Myers, like Devontae Adams, of course, see what he can do with Trey Tucker. And who's similar to a guy who I think they drafted Andy Isabella there, and then they also had Hollywood Brown there. I think Trey Tucker can be a weapon that they use, in the slot and bring us some speed out of the slot position, man. So I think that he has a plethora of weapons here, and he has a lot of toys to play with, man. And I think he is going to have our offense on an entirely different level than it was on this year, man. Especially with with the full offseason.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. No, 100% facts. There's a lot to be excited about. And Egalitarian says Aiden O'Connell might not fit Cliff Kingsbury's offensive scheme. I wonder, will we trade for Justin Fields? So there's a lot of speculation going on right now. Some people are connecting the dots with Justin Fields because obviously, he had Kyler Murray, or he's always had like a dynamic type of quarterback at that position that could buy some time, that could run with his legs. But also, what it guarantees is that we're gonna have a dynamic quarterback at that position. Like I could see it now clearly. Like before, you kind of were like, oh, what are we gonna do? Who are we gonna go with? Yeah. Because we didn't know who the OC was gonna be. Now we have Cliff Kingsbury at OC, the Raiders. Come on now, like that's coming with a dynamic quarterback. I think it's, in my opinion, I think it's coming through the draft. I'm not sure if it's coming through a trade. But we'll see.
egalitarian knows damn well what I think about Justin Fields, man. Don't even look, bro. Don't even bring that name up no more. All right, I don't want to hear about no Justin Fields, man. Okay, this dude is not it. He's not it. All right, egalitarian. Let me see. Put Justin Fields in the chat one more time. But now I'm not keen on trading for Justin Fields. Like I said, he's a guy that he really hasn't been healthy at any point in his career. He's missed games every single year. He's been in NFL, spotty production, doesn't get through his progressions quickly, holds the ball, takes a lot of sacks, a lot of turnover worthy plays, and he flashes greatness ever so often, right? Every so often, and then people get hypnotized by those flashes that they see. But consistently, he's just consistently not a good quarterback. And we keep making all these excuses for him. Oh, it's this guy. He doesn't have the weapons. He doesn't have this. He doesn't have that. At the end of the day, man, the NFL is a production-based business. And honestly, if you look at the numbers, especially the win-loss column, Mitchell Trubisky produced more than Justin Fields, which tells you something right there. So I don't want Justin Fields, man. I'm good on that.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, I wouldn't be mad about Fields. It's just the compensation, because we're only going to have him 1 year on a rookie deal. I'd rather go with a young quarterback in the draft, because you got how many 4 or 5 years on a rookie deal. You could build a great team with a guy on a rookie contract. We've seen it so many times in the NFL. But if we get a Fields, it better not be for a lot. Meaning, when I say a lot, I mean it better not be for no first round, second round, third round, and below. That's how I feel about it. I mean, I feel like it could work out. It's just that, look, your room for error is like, man, the Raiders have to make a decision on giving him a super deal. Quarterbacks are going to get paid in 1 year. In 1 year. So next season he has to have like a great season for them to extend him. So do you want to take that risk by giving him a high draft pick? I wouldn't do that. And I'm sure the Bears are going to probably have a lot of people looking into trading for him, because he is a quarterback in this league, a young quarterback that has a potential to be something in this league. So and there's a lot of teams that are not going to be picking in the first 10 picks or 5 picks, you know what I mean, where all the top quarterbacks are in the draft. So there's I could see like the Steelers being one of those teams. I could see the Falcons. I could see, there's a few teams that can be in on this, on the trade market for Fields. So it's not just going to be the Raiders. So if it's going to be a lot of teams, I just think that the value, the market is going to go up, and I feel like the trade compensation is going to go up. And the Raiders should get out of it as soon as the Bears say, I want a second round pick and a first round. Nah, we ain't doing that,
bro. Yeah, bro.
Let's not do that.
I mean. And I think we're going to touch on this later, but are the Bears going to actually trade him? Will they actually make that trade, or would they decide to keep him in? So that's a discussion for a little bit later. But to your point, so Justin Fields, I want to say he's going into year 4. His average, like his basically he's getting paid about $4 million a year right now. When he gets that 5th year option, he's going to go from about $4 million a year to about $24 million a year, depending on like, hey, if he makes the Pro Bowl, it could go or All Pro team, it can go higher than that. So then he's gonna be making even more money than that, and then you have to decide, hey, are we gonna give this guy a contract extension? Because really, ideally, you don't want him to go into that 5th year playing on that same contract. If he's shown that you're willing to pick up that 5th year option, at that point, really just extend him. And then you have to pay him. And we see what quarterbacks are getting paid right now. So, are you going to take the chance on his potential? Well, why take the chance on his potential when you can get a guy that's going to be much more cost controlled for a longer period of time, as you alluded to? So I'd rather just get up go up and get one of these young guys. And I think we've already said, we still would want a young quarterback. So we still want a developmental guy. So for every pick we trade for Justin Fields, or whatever pick we trade for him, that's one less shot at getting a young quarterback, whether we want to move up for one or we want to take one later in the draft, whether that be who we talked about previous show, Joe Milton, whether that be Spencer Rattler, whether that be Jordan Travis, like any of these guys, right? So, if we're trading a third for him, so do we really want to spend multiple draft picks on quarterbacks in this draft when we have needs elsewhere? Like, I'm not too keen on that.
So you think that we're gonna you think if we get Fields in a trade, do you think we still draft a quarterback in that draft?
I still think we, because technically, I think we still want a developmental guy. Because if Aiden O'Connell doesn't fit this system, then is that really your backup quarterback?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point.
So I mean, we could go to veteran. We could go to veteran route, but ideally, what veteran is going to want to come here and sit behind a guy who we just traded for and is entrenched as a starter? Maybe Jacoby Brissett, who was a guy I advocated last year over Jimmy G. He's a guy that's been kind of he's kind of a career backup right now. He would kind of fit that system. It's for sure isn't going to be Russell Wilson, who a lot of people have speculated us getting, and he's been connected to our organization. So, there's not really a whole lot of players that are going to want to come here and for sure sit behind a guy in Justin Fields. So, and like I said, Aiden O'Connell really isn't a fit for, if we're getting Justin Fields, whatever offense we're going to run is not going to fit AOC's skill set. So at that point, it's like we need a backup quarterback.
Fields and Joe Milton?
That's a dynamic quarterback room right there, man. That's a lot of athleticism right there, man. I'm not too keen on Fields, but talented. But like I said, the dude just has not put it together in the league, and I don't know if he ever will.
Right. And Mark Carbone says Hugh for QB coach.
Yeah,
nice little segue to the return of Hugh Jackson. So. One of the, I think who was it on reported this? Was it Jeremy Fowler that reported this? It was one of the guys. They reported that Hugh Jackson interviewed for the Raiders for an offensive assistant role, probably QB coach.
Yes.
The return of Hugh Jackson. We haven't seen him since 2010, 2011? Is that when he last head coach for the Raiders?
It was the 20. Well, yeah, he got fired after the 2011 season, I want to say. So yeah, because Al passed in 2011. So I want to say it was after that season. So when he got fired.
So no, it was 2011. Yeah, so it's 2011. Yeah, 2011. Yeah, that was Hugh Jackson last season because that's when he traded for Palmer.
Yeah, man.
Carson Palmer, which was it's a steep price to pay for a quarterback. You just give up the next. He didn't even play. Palmer did he play a second season with the Raiders? I don't think he even played.
I don't recall, man. I don't think so.
Yeah, he didn't play too long with the Raiders, man. So you start looking at like that trade compensation. You're like, man, like we gave all them picks, first round picks. Yeah. It is what it is, man. But look, man, hey, Hugh Jackson, former head coach. We love what he did back in the day with the Raiders, with the talent that he had. He was able to unlock Darren McFadden and a lot of the speedy receivers the Raiders had in the past. After the Raiders, it was kind of a rocky road. I think he went. And this is the Marvin Lewis effect right now.
Yeah.
The connection is Marvin Lewis. So I think after the Raiders head coaching job, I think he went to the Bengals as an assistant. I'm not sure what position he was coaching. It might have been on defense.
He went there as a special teams assistant. Okay. And he was assistant special teams coach, and he had another role with them. But then shortly after that, I want to say he got elevated to he was coaching quarterbacks. Then shortly after that, he was offensive coordinator. And then I think he spent maybe a year or two in that role. And then that's when he got the Cleveland job. And then it's kind of been all downhill for him since then.
Yeah, we'll see. There's nothing official. He hasn't been officially hired to the Raiders, but it was an interview. But the fact that like we're hearing this, like, oh wow, like kind of came out the blue. But once you heard it, it didn't make sense because obviously that's a Marvin Lewis guy. Yeah. And so if he does end up getting the job. Like obviously, you see the power of Marvin Lewis on that staff is getting a lot of guys that pretty much he's connected to help out AP. But yeah, man, I'm not mad at it. Another former head coach, offensive minded coach, obviously. I wouldn't be mad at Hugh Jackson. He's been away from football. I don't know if he's been. I don't know if he's been coaching since. I think he was a head coach from Was it Grambling?
Yeah. So I want to say he went to like Tennessee after Cleveland. I want to say he went to like Tennessee State or something like that, and was like an assistant coach there, and then he was head coach at Grambling, and then he got fired from that job. So. But as a QB coach, man, like that's what his history is. I mean, he's coached running backs and wide receivers. I want to say he was wide receiver coach in Cincinnati. Wasn't he wide receiver coach previously in Cincinnati before going back there? I think he was a wide receivers coach with when Chad Johnson or Chad Ochocinco and TJ Houshmandzadeh when they were balling. I want to say he was a wide receivers coach.
And then he ended up going to the Browns as an OC, then believe he became head coach with the Browns. That didn't work out too well, but
yeah. So he has a history everywhere, but I think we have the wide receiver coach, Edgar Bennett. I hopefully he's not leaving. I haven't heard of him leaving. He's a very good wide receivers coach. He's basically been with Devontae his whole career. We got Kenny Polamalu as a running back coach. I think he's done a very good job as well. So I think, as Mark Cobone said, that the most likely position for him to fill that we still have open will be the QB coach. And I think that's an ideal fit for what Hugh Jackson does. He was a former QB himself. I want to say, I might be mistaken on this, but I think he was quarterback at Pacific while John Gruden was coaching there. I might be wrong on that, but I know he went to Pacific, and I think John Gruden was there at the same time. I think he was quarterback under John Gruden at Pacific. Chat, let me know.
Mr. Marty Mart says Russell Wilson with our weapons will be unstoppable with Kingsbury. Man. All right, he's already connecting the dots. I could see Russell Wilson being in this offense too. You know what I mean?
Can as well.
With his play style, like I could see it. Maybe he's a little longer in the tooth now, but yeah, I can see now that you can see the connection happening. That getting a veteran in there could be a possibility. Yes. I just hope that we don't pay after the Jimmy G contract. I'm like, hey, come on, just chill. Like we can go after a young QB and give him a rookie deal, and we can build the team from there. But I don't think the contract for Russell Wilson is going to be too high. No. Do you think the Broncos are going to outright cut him, or do you think they're going to trade him?
I think they're going to end up having to cut him after what transpired. I think I think he had a meeting after the season with Sean Payton, where Sean Payton was like, "Hey, there's a chance you're back," and that was reported. I think that was all subterfuge. I think they're trying to salvage some of his value in the hopes that they could potentially trade him. I don't see it happening. They're going to have to cut him. And then, he's basically free to go wherever he wants to. And as we talked about previously, the way his contract is set up, he's incentivized to take as low of a deal as possible with his next team to make the Broncos pay as much of the money they owe him as possible. So if we want to go up and take the young quarterback route and trade up and get a young quarterback, I think the ideal move is to bring Russell Wilson in as that bridge guy and let the young quarterback, learn a year or two. Or maybe it's the Derek Carr situation where we brought in Matt Flynn to kind of be the bridge guy, or was not Matt Flynn. What's my other guy's name? Matt Schaub. Matt Schaub to kind of be the bridge quarterback. We had both of them, actually.
He didn't play, bro. I don't think he did play. I think Derek Carr just outright took the job, and I was like,
outright beat him
up. At that time, Matt Schaub was done in my book. But you know what's crazy? He played.
Yeah, Matt Flynn too, though. At one point, he was trash.
Yeah. He was trash. He was trash, man. Hey, Green Bay sold us a dream. Man, it is what it is. But Juan Carrillo says, AOC can become a good QB as long as he starts being mobile a lot more and learns how to slide like Rich Gannon. I'm just gonna break this to you, Juan. I don't think it's in him. I don't think
Yeah, man.
he runs like a
Yeah,
7.5 40 or something
Yeah,
like
man.
that, 7.6 or something like that. Like he's not fast at all. Like he's not quick, he's not fast, he's not mobile at all. He's a statue back there. That's the reason why he was a 4th round pick. He's a statue back there. In today's NFL, man, like you better get the ball out quick. That's pretty much his game, which is nothing wrong with that. I don't think he's gonna be a bad player in this league. I felt like he showed enough where he could be a solid, backup QB, possibly maybe starter. Who knows? But man, he can't move, bro. He can't move. Can't move at all. So especially in this offense, oh man, hell no. Let's forget about it.
Yeah, man. Nah, man. Like I said, it's some things you can learn to do. Being fast is not one of them, man. So it's like you can't pick up the book like fast. Like let me see, like.
Because I've seen some people say this. I've said like, well, it's more of a mindset thing. Yeah, there were times where he could have ran. It might have helped a little bit, I think, but overall, he's not gonna outrun anybody. It's a mindset thing too, as well. But also, because hey, look, Brady, was not a mobile QB at all, and so he had some timely runs here and there. You know what I mean? Peyton Manning, not a mobile QB, but he had some timely, like if it's open, he'll get a 5-7 yards, whatever, even a first down, because defense forget to guard him as a QB as far as running the ball, like because they're not going to do that. So I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, like the Raiders, it would be a mistake if the Raiders just went with Aiden O'Connell as a starter next season.
Huge mistake. Yeah, huge mistake, man.
Dominique says he won't be a head coach with us though, so that's not a concern. He's a great offensive mind. I think he's speaking to Cliff Kingsbury being hired. Yeah. And that's the hope, is that like maybe he had too much responsibilities as a head coach. We talked about this before. You know what I mean? We had a guy at head coach who, like, everybody could talk about how good an offensive mind, a great offensive mind, genius he was, but we didn't see it with him as a head coach. So maybe he's not. Maybe he, as a head coach, he won't be there. But like, if he puts all his focus on one side of the football, which is the offensive side, as an OC, maybe we'll start seeing some great things from that side of the football. With
facts.
Kingsbury.
Man, and he could have been talking about Cliff Kingsbury, but that same comment that also applies to Hugh Jackson. Like you can take that exact same statement and apply that to Hugh Jackson as well. Where, hey, you know what? As a head coach, with head coach with us, I like Hugh Jackson as head coach. Man, I was hoping when we brought in Reggie McKenzie, I was hoping we'd keep that train going. We just came off an 8-8 season. I was hoping with a full offseason with Carson Palmer, we can make things work. Apparently, Mark Davis and Reggie McKenzie had other ideas, but yeah, man, I think those two guys working together, I think that is a great thing for us, man.
Right. And there's so much experience on the staff, like, you know what I mean? Just think about like that's, and I think Vinny made a great point where he talked about the Rams coaching staff, Sean McVay's first year. And you talked about it a little bit too. You said Sean McVay, first year head coach. He had Wade Phillips at defensive coordinator, former head coach. But it wasn't just him. He had a lot of former head coaches on his staff, which translated the Rams as turning around the season, having a good first season for Sean McVay. So hopefully a lot of former head coaches, a lot of experience on the staff translates to the Raiders winning. That's at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Just win. But we got Steve DeLuna says Tampa Bay defense ended Gannon career. Same game, Tim Brown scored a touchdown against the Raiders. See, man, we talk. They talking about you. That's old wounds, man. Hey,
exactly. Say, man, them scars cut deep, man. Them scars cut deep. I remember, man. I remember that game vividly. That was
I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, man, what? We're like the number one offensively. We had Hall of Famers at wide receiver. Like, I thought this was our time. Charles Woodson gets an interception on the first drive off Brad Johnson. I'm going crazy. Yeah. And it was downhill ever since. It wasn't.
I think I want to say he's talking about that next year. I want to say when Rich Gannon got hurt, I think it was a neck injury.
It was
I
Derek Brooks. He was scrambling.
Was it a neck injury?
It was a neck injury. Yep.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, whew, that one stung, man. That one stung.
Yeah, man. But look, man. Hey, look. Now this kind of someone was talking about. Let me pull this comment up, man. Let's see here. I think I seen this earlier, but Alpha One talked about it. He says, "Who do you think we go after, Jaden or Caleb?" And that kind of segues into basically the next topic is: are the Raiders trading to the number 1 pick, man? Like, we got Cliff Kingsbury. You see where you can connect the dots. He was at USC. Who was the quarterback at USC? The guy that's projected to go number 1 overall, Caleb Williams. People are talking about Colin Cowherd. He was one of the guys early on in the media saying that, the Raiders and Cliff Kingsbury is a real thing. Fast forward, it's happening. He also talked about, Caleb Williams not wanting to be drafted by the Bears. Yeah. So, and I think Sean said earlier in the show, he got it started a little bit early, but Sean also said it as well. But yeah, man. Hey, look, man. I think the only time I've ever seen like a QB or a player be like, I'm not going there, I think it was Eli Manning. Eli Manning was like one of the. I think it was Eli Manning to the Chargers. Was it Chargers or it was?
Yes.
And then Phillip Rivers ended up getting drafted. It worked out for them too. Yeah. However way you want to look at it, but.
So it happened one time before that. It happened more than once. So I want to say John Elway was the first guy I remember doing it, and that was with the Colts. And John Elway had got drafted into Major League Baseball. He said, "I'll go play baseball if the Colts draft me." I think it was the Baltimore Colts at the time. And he said, I'll go play baseball." And then the Raiders had a trade in place to go up and get John Elway. And then what was the Pete Rozelle was a commissioner at the time. He nixed the deal. And so we tried to get up and get John Elway. We know that they made sure we couldn't do it. And then Deion Sanders. I forgot who it was that was trying to draft him. It might have been Tampa Bay at the time. But Deion Sanders straight up told them, "If y'all draft me, I'm going to ask for so much money, you're going to have to put me on layaway."
Yeah, and I think that was the last time. Maybe the last time we've seen that was was Eli Manning.
Yeah, Eli Manning was the most recent time, because now teams really don't because the quarterback. I mean, at that time, players, depending on where you were drafted, they were getting so much money before the NFL made those changes to the rookie wage scale. But they were getting so much money. It's like, bro, do you really want to cost yourself tens of millions of dollars not going to the destination that you want? So now I think it's a little bit more feasible, because the difference between being the first pick and the third pick is not as drastic as it was back then. If you're number 1 overall, like we see, Jamarcus Russell, he didn't play a whole season. This dude had every color in minks. At the press conference, bro, he's like, so. But I mean, trading up for number 1, I don't see it happening. And what we have to look at is the value of number 1 picks changes year to year. So if you see what Carolina gave up to get Bryce Young, and I want to say that most people have Caleb Williams is almost universally more well regarded as a prospect than Bryce Young was. Like, he's most people say he's the best quarterback prospect to come along since Andrew Luck, right? So if you want to get up and get a chance to draft that guy, I want to say the Panthers gave up, DJ Moore, 2 firsts and 2 seconds or something like that. I don't remember the exact trade details, but something along those lines.
So Carolina, not to cut you off, but Carolina was at number 9, and they traded with the Bears for the number 1 pick. Yeah, and it was pretty much the Bears. Let's see. So it was the Panthers wide receiver DJ Moore, legit number 1 receiver, talented player, so big time player. The number
worth
9
at least
pick,
first himself.
Yeah, exactly. And the number 9 pick, a second-round pick from last year's draft, a 2024 first-round pick, which is going to be this year, and a second-round pick in 2025. And that was last year's draft.
Exactly.
With maybe about, one or two quarterbacks that were kind of like people were trying to target to get.
Yeah, like three was like three people thought 3 in the top 5, I want to say.
Yeah, in this draft, with so many teams needing a quarterback, I feel like, man, this is nothing. This is where it's gonna. This is where the negotiations start.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's pretty much where what it's gonna look like to me, in my opinion. But I think it's gonna be. And earlier this week, it was reported, which is not surprising, but Sean Payton and the Broncos are going to be looking to be aggressive and make a move in the first round because, hey, look, they're going to make that split from Russell Wilson. Yeah. Sean Payton, offensive-minded coach, he's going to want to get his guy. So and that's just one example of a team that wants a quarterback. So think about like the competitions. All that's going to do is just going to increase the value. Facts.
Yeah, man. Of the top 5 teams, only maybe the Chargers and the Cardinals, or maybe the Chargers are at 5, right? The Chargers at 5, or they at 6?
Yeah, Chargers are at 5. Chargers at 5. The Giants are at 6.
The Cardinals are at 4.
Yeah.
So like of the people in the top 5, only ones that realistically, no doubt, aren't drafting the quarterback are the Cardinals and the Chargers. You know, he's in play for Chicago. He's in play for New England. He's also in play for who's number 2 pick?
The Commanders.
The Commanders. See, he's in play for all of those teams. He's in play for all of those teams. So you know, and like I said, we're coming from. So that was what Carolina gave up to get from 9. We're coming from 13. So that's even further back with a quarterback that's more well regarded in a draft where more teams, as you said, are going to be looking for quarterbacks. It's going to take a lot to get up to that number 1 pick. Honestly, I have Jaden Daniels as my number 1 guy. I've been saying that. So like, I wouldn't even try to trade up to number 1. You know, if we're for sure that Caleb is going to go 1, I'm not trying to get up for 1. I think the negotiations for us start at number 2. And that's with, you know, that's with the Commanders. So I mean, and they just got a young defensive minded, you know, I mean, not a young defense, but they just got a defensive minded head coach. You know, maybe he's a guy that wants to, hey, I'm gonna invest some money into this defense and try to build up this defense. So maybe that's the route they take. So maybe they're willing to take a deal to that's gonna net them multiple draft picks so they can build a strong defense. And maybe they say, you know what, we saw enough out of Sam Howell where I think maybe he can be a guy that we can win with. Maybe not be a superstar, but you know, when he was on, you know, he played pretty well. Maybe, you know, hey, let's try to run it back one more year with him, and we can pick up all these picks. But you know, I'm personally not trading up to number 1 for Caleb. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot, but I wouldn't mind the trade to number 1 if it's possible. But it's just like it's gonna be hard for me to believe that like we can get there with 2 first-round picks, maybe trading a player. Like I think it's gonna cost a whole lot. But guess what? Tom Telesco got the job because he sold Mark Davis on being aggressive. His plan on getting a young quarterback. And, you know, it's been reported, it's been talked about. Everybody knows this. Like, that's probably everybody thought Champ Kelly was a slam dunk at GM, and Ed Dodds was going to be also in the building. But last minute, Telesco kind of came in and stole their thunder because he had a plan that the Raiders believed in as far as getting a young quarterback. So they're going to be trading up. You said number 2. I could see number 3 with the Patriots. I could see them kind of like I'm not sure if they're going to get to number 2, but number 3, I feel like the Patriots, they're not a good team. They're not good football. They need a lot of help. And I don't think they're a quarterback away. Now, can they get their quarterback and start rebuilding? Yeah, they can. But I think that if a team like the Raiders came in and said, hey, look at this draft haul, I think the Patriots would listen. Just my opinion. The Commanders, I can see them taking a quarterback 100%, like without a doubt, especially a Caleb Williams. especially a Caleb Williams, where I believe he's from the area, the DC area. So I know he said that he doesn't want to play for the Bears, but he didn't say he didn't want to play for the Commanders. So it's a possibility where they can go after him, especially if they figure out their OC soon. I think I heard reports that Chip Kelly might interview for the job, and that might be a possibility. Or they might wait for Clint, a guy that Raider Nation, a lot of people wanted at OC for the Raiders, Clint Kubiak. So that's a real possibility. But look, man, man, baby, you're saying baby Mahomes or severe Raider? That's basically what you saying.
I know, right? So look, I'm saying this. Look, the Raiders need to draft my cousin. All right, that's what I'm saying right now, man. Look. Look. There's 2 points I want to make. Real quick. Okay, so what is the biggest? Well, I always talk about this, right? This is what I always talk about as my red flag for Caleb Williams is his attitude. It's not about his play on the field. It's not about his talent. It's about his attitude, right? He's a guy that is immature. He's entitled. He's not a great leader. Constantly bad body language on and off the field. And what does a move like this show you, right? This encompasses all those red flags of a guy being entitled, thinking he can pick and choose where he gets to play in the NFL. He's not a leader, immature. I don't want to go there. I want to go where I want to go. Like all those things, all those concerns are embodied in this one, move if it's true. And then another thing, this is kind of like, this is not scientific. This is anecdotal, right? But one thing I've been talking about, if you look at basically most of the best prospects at quarterback in the league, where do they come from? They're from California. Aaron Rodgers, California. Tom Brady, California. CJ Stroud, California. Josh Allen, California. Where's Jaden Daniels from? California. So, that's not scientific.
Just say where I'm from, man. Just say where I'm from.
Hey, bro, that's where I'm from, bro. That's where I'm
man. Hey, I wouldn't be mad at both, be honest with you. I would be excited for both Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to be like, damn, we drafted Caleb Williams. No. I'm going to be like, oh, my. Cliff Kingsbury, Caleb Williams. This is a guy that he could. I'm going to be excited either way. No matter what, if we can get into the top 3 and draft a QB, are you serious? And all it takes is an OC to believe in the guy that they drafted, and because they're already making plans. They're already you already know Cliff Kingsbury's in the lab right now trying to come up with certain plays for certain quarterbacks. Obviously, they don't know where they're going to be at draft day, but I'm sure AP probably kind of told him like what the plan is. They're going to aggressively attack that quarterback position because it's huge, man. Like you can only go as far as the quarterback. Look at the final 2 teams, and well, I shouldn't talk about the 49ers because they ain't got Purdy. He's I ain't gonna put him up there just yet, but we got to play a guy twice a year in Kansas City, so
Facts.
Mahomes, obviously Herbert with Jim Harbaugh, Broncos are gonna figure out their quarterback situation soon, and we are too. So hopefully we get our Josh Allen, whoever that is, or our Patrick Mahomes, and that's only gonna happen in the draft. That's not gonna happen in free agency.
Oh no.
Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real, man. No, but man, hey, the chat is going wild, man. We appreciate everybody coming through, man. Hey, man, we got to get the likes up, y'all. We got to get the likes up. Hey, man, I'll give y'all the friendly reminder, man. I'll show y'all like what the like button looks like, man. Hey, all you have to see the thumb right there, man. All you got to do is do that, man. Hey, we appreciate everybody coming through and pulling up and watching us and supporting us. And the way to do that is to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, hit that notification bell. Hey, man, we got to give you the friendly reminder. We just want to talk football, talk Raider football specifically. But yeah, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Look, we got man, the chat is going wild. Let's see. Dominique says Marcus Mariota fits the system, still young and mobile. He'll be cheap, a great locker. Okay, that's a guy that like not a lot of people's talking about, like as far as a veteran option. I think Mariota was with the Eagles this season. He was backing up the Eagles. I think he went to the Falcons.
Okay, was he with the Eagles? Like I know he was with the Falcons after he left us. Did he spend time with the Eagles this year?
Yeah, he was with the Eagles.
Okay.
He was the Eagles. But I believe if we're talking about him, I believe he's a free agent this year. I don't know if he signed like a long-term deal with them. I think it might have been like a 1-year deal. But hey, man, look, I'm not mad at adding a veteran in this locker room, not named Brian Hoyer or Jimmy G or any quarterback that can't move.
Nah, facts, man, facts. I mean, Jimmy G is likely gone. Brian Hoyer would have been gone last year if Josh McDaniels didn't come in and swoop him and save him from retirement. And I think Marcus Mariota, man, I think he'll be a good vet to be a backup quarterback. I would not want to see Marcus Mariota starting any games. I would pray that is not the case. But as a third quarterback, as an emergency quarterback, I don't think he's the classic bridge guy, to be honest with you, man. Because just look at what he did in Atlanta with Arthur Smith, who worked wonders with Ryan Tannehill and really couldn't make it work with Marcus Mariota. I'm not sure he's a guy I would want starter as my bridge, but if he's like a part of the quarterback room, I wouldn't mind that at all.
Donnell Smith says, I would think Kingsbury would be the QB coach, so I'm not sure where he would fit in.
I think you're referring to Hugh Jackson.
You talking about Hugh? Hugh Jackson, you think he would be a QB coach? I'm not sure where he would fit in. They didn't really give too much specifics as far as what he interviewed. It just said offensive assistant.
Yeah.
But he's former OC, former head coach. He's gonna find a way to be on that staff if they want him to be, and I think he has a big voice on his side in Marvin Lewis. Wherever Marvin Lewis has gone, Hugh Jackson's always kind of been, not too far away from him. Same thing with a lot of these Patriot assistants. If Bill Belichick is gonna be a head coach somewhere, Josh McDaniels is gonna pop up. Yeah, they ain't gonna have to wait. They're gonna have to wait a couple of years, or I don't know when Bill Belichick's gonna get hired.
Yeah, man.
But they're good though, man. They still getting paid by the Raiders. Sadly, that's the messed up part about it.
Yeah.
As far as Josh McDaniels, those coaches' contracts are guaranteed. But Daniel Kim says, I love that AP is humble and self-aware enough to surround himself with great minds and experience. That's what we was talking about, earlier. Facts, 100%.
Facts,
yep.
Man. Facts.
DeMarcus Webb says, Hugh, please stay away from the draft picks. Yeah, he's definitely not going to be the GM of this team or any type of
man.
Whoo, I think that's probably why he didn't come back. Was the fact that that trade. Maybe he rubbed people the wrong way by, because when Al died, there wasn't any GM, so exactly. It was just Hugh Jackson taking full control, and that wasn't. It didn't work out too well. Man, we got I don't know if I'm pronouncing Impresario, man. I got you, man. I'm gonna give you the AP version.
Hey man, that's the only version to go with, bro.
Hey, that's the AP. Hey, get used to it, man. That's what he's gonna do every. He better do it every game, man. Hey, look, at this point, he got to do it, man. You got to do it.
He did it at the press conference, at the opening press conference, man. He had everybody doing it this time.
Yeah, no doubt. Look, we got let's see. We got Thrash in the building. He says Hugh was saying he wanted to come back in any way on that podcast. Yeah, I believe it was was it Behind the Shield or
Protect the Shield?
Protect the Shield. My bad. My brother, he's doing big things on that channel. Make sure to subscribe to his channel. Protect the Shield podcast has had Hugh Jackson a couple of times and
twice, man. Some good interviews both times, man.
Yeah, so make sure to check out the interview on Protect the Shield podcast. I believe that's what he's referring to. He had Hugh Jackson on there, and man, I'm gonna have to rewatch it. I'm gonna have to watch it and see all the He might have like, he has some gems in there.
He might have dropped some nuggets, man.
He might have said something like,
man.
he was like, I'm about to draft. You know what I mean?
Exactly, right.
I'm gonna draft Caleb Williams. Something. He might say something. So, but yeah, man. Hey, look, we appreciate everybody coming through, man. We had a great show. We just wanted to come in, react to the news of the OC. We've been talking about it for a while now. The Raiders finally did it. Cliff Kingsbury is the OC. Marvin Lewis is the assistant head coach. We finally know what his position on the staff is. And it makes sense because all these guys that's coming in all kind of like are connected to Marvin Lewis, or I think I might have seen a Tom Coughlin connection too as well. But yeah, man, hey, look, man, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, hit that notification bell. At this point now, we can start looking forward to the Senior Bowl. I think this whole week, I don't know if Senior Bowl did it happen?
No, it happened. The game, the practice is going on right now. The game is on Saturday, I believe.
Was the East-West Shrine game? Was that on this week? Was it on today?
They're practicing right now. I think their game. I don't remember where their game is when their game is. To be honest with you, it's before the Senior Bowl though. But I'm not sure exactly what day it is. But
well, the good thing is that we'll have like a whole off season to like react to like and talk about like who's going to be connected to who. Free agency is around the corner. It's probably like a month away in March. So there's going to be some guys that the Raiders should target. I think specifically on defense. You got Chris Jones. Dude is going to be a free agent. I'm not sure if the Chiefs are going to give him that franchise tag or going to even give him that deal that he's looking for. So, hey, game changer. Add him to this defensive line with Kuntz, and you got your boy Max Crosby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Defensive Player of the Year finalist. Hey, look, look. At the end of the day, like I feel like that's going to be a big move if the Raiders can pull that off. I believe the other guy's Jalen Johnson at corner. But I think he's going to go back to the Bears. But
I think he might get franchised. I think he's going to get franchised. I'm hearing he might get franchised.
Okay, yeah, and we'll have plenty of time to talk about it. But any last thoughts, man? Anything that we should be looking forward to as far as the offseason?
Yeah, man. Like I said, I mean, you brought up the Senior Bowl, man. The quarterbacks there, they have not been impressing. So I think that just might drive the cost up a little bit more for these higher picks if you want a quarterback, man. So it's going to be exciting, man. I'm excited for this new offensive staff. I'm excited to begin the AP era, man. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. And I just want to say this. Jordan Love, Cali. Warren Moon, Cali. Troy Aikman, Cali. Just want to say that. Say that, man.
Hey,
Jaden Daniels, you guys. Jaden Daniels is the guy.
Severe has made his point, man. He's trying to help y'all out and connect the dots, man. Jaden Daniels is gonna be the guy for the Raiders, man. That's basically what he's saying. But we appreciate everybody coming through, man. Hey, look, man, make sure, like I said, make sure to hit that like button. And man, hey, look, this has been a good show, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. But it is about that time. Yo, man, peace.
Great Pharaoh. The gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the five rivers.
Believe that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future. Just win, baby. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.